Good morning, Rabbi Oziel. You don't, mamish, have to help me out. Today's shir is being sponsored. I forgot to print it out. It's one of those days. Okay, let's go back. Yosef. 3 sponsors. Here we go. By Efrayim Jaffe, in memory of my father, Ira Jaffe, Yitzhak ben Kalman Yaakov, may his neshama have an aliya. And by Yaakov and Malka, Slatus, Refuah, Shlema for our son, Alter Yeshaya ben Malka, Chaya, for Shlema. And by Michael Benchetrit from Florida. Thank you, Michael, for helping put that together, that whole beautiful gathering, in commemoration of the 9th yartzeit of Rabbi Yosef Oziel of Miami. He's from the Miami community who passed away on the 13th of Tamuz at the young age of 42. Rabbi Oziel was a tremendous talmid chacham that had a global following. It was my inspiration to start and finish the last Daf Yomi cycle shortly after his passing in 2012, and I continued to learn Daf Yomi in his memory. May his neshama have an aliya. Not in order. Well, talking about Miami, so I'll read some of the Miami guys. I think I even have one from Michael Benchetrit from a few days ago. Raveli. This one is from Jeff Gordon. I was so happy, by the way, to see that Jeff Gordon is still with the Daf, because he gave a beautiful video message, I don't know, like a year ago. It was for Siyum of Shabbos, I think. Shabbos. So he's still with us, Baruch Hashem. Whose phone is that? We just finished a fun and bonding lunch with the South Florida Chevra. We know you have a home down here, and a relaxed and friendly shir is what our group is all about. As such, we voted that one seam should be made down here, and since you have a home here, it really will be like MDY Chutz La'aretz. Can I hear a yes, Rabbi Oziel? Hatzlocha, Jeff Gordon, Boynton Beach. Wow. Okay, a few more of those. Maybe we'll go there. Yonason David Cohen. My name is Yonason David Cohen. Living in, you're not going to believe this. You know where this guy lives? Anchorage, Alaska. Since January, I've been frequently using your shir streamed over Zoom to learn with my father and grandfather in New York, along with some friends, including one I made in Indianapolis. We all have gotten a deeper understanding with your shir, and this chabur as well as a strong motivation for all of us to keep it up. In addition, I am much closer with my family thanks to your shir, Baruch Hashem. So talking about strengthening family, here's a picture of Joe Schreiber. He's wearing his granddaughter's headphones with pink horns on them, doing the daf. But when we had the whole corona thing, he was on Zoom every single day, together with his son, Josh, here, and his grandchildren would come, and that's how they, for a year, I think they didn't see each other in person, but it was all through the shir on Zoom. So, Baruch Hashem for that. P.S. When will you be in Chicago? I may be there late July and would love to meet you in person. Thanks and kol tuv. Wow. So, Yonason David Cohen, you have to make something in Anchorage, Alaska. Maybe you. What? A cruise to Alaska. No, but first let him bring. Maybe there's a moose or something in Alaska that he can get together with. Eskimos. Okay, Michael Benchetrit. Shalom Aleichem. We had a great Miami get-together today, and there's a tremendous momentum for us to continue with bigger and better events. Absolutely. That's the whole idea. Start off 13 people, Baruch Hashem. Next time we'll grow a little. And even if it doesn't, it was done. December 8th is Siyum on Tainus. January 8th is on Megillah. February 5th, Moed Katan. March 3rd is Chagiga, which is also the Siyum of Seder Moed. So, since the Siyum are coming fast and furious between December and March, it's every 30 days. Raveli, we're seeing a major demographic shift where Yidden from the northern U.S. are spending winters in Florida more often, and many families are even relocating permanently. It was very inspiring to see your pre-Pesach and post-Pesach Siyumim for Pesachim Shkolim in the New York area, in addition to all the group events in between. I'm sure my fellow Floridians will agree that a winter Siyum in Florida would be extremely well received. In fact, many of the New Yorkers that attended the Pesach Siyum may have been down here. May even be down here. How about it, Raveli? Florida's waiting for you. I guess they just sat there the whole time. Like, are you going to write email? Write email now. Write email. They got. Okay, I have no doubt we can organize. The Olam? Who, me? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this. Warm regards, your beloved Talmud from Miami, Michael Benchetrit.
Eli, tell the guys who are listening to all part of the WhatsApp, message Yeshua, and they can find out who's in the area.
Who, the Miami guys?
Anywhere. Anyone in the world.
Anyone in the world should message Yeshua and give him your WhatsApp number. Here's your number. Here's Yeshua's number, and they'll get together in Alaska. It'll be unbelievable. We got to get some cool places like Alaska. Rabbi Oziel, here's one more picture before we go into the shir. These are the Berman clan. This is Eli Chala Schlissel. He gave me a challah. He owns the Strauss's Bakery in Borough Park. So it says like this: Hi, I'm Shirley Berman, son of the famous Eli Berman Schlissel Chala, and my brothers and I love your shir. The whole mishpacha. Love this mishpacha. I've been listening to your shir while I make my deliveries. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and currently live in Detroit. Detroit, here we go. Here's a Detroiter. He should get together. This guy right over here. I've been here for almost 8 years, and I love it here. Been trying to advertise Reb Eli to everyone I know. Yeshaya. From the right, myself, Sruli, I think this is what he means, right? Mati Berman, Aaron Lerner, Eli Berman is over here. David Goldstein, Yankee Berman. Givaldic. Get together in Detroit. Get my uncle, Rabbi Irons, my uncle, or my wife's uncle, Dr. Friedman. Start a chabura over there. Rabbi Oziel, here we are. Daf Yomi, Amud Beis. We're in the middle of Rava. Stopped in the wrong place. So, Zois HaTorah Som Moshe. Why does it say Som? It should say Limed. Som is a lotion of Sam HaChayim, Sam HaMoves. It's the poison, it's the drug of life. And we're holding by the wide line. V'hainu Domar Rava. Doimein Lo Sam Chaya. If you're skilled, the Uman, it depends. If you're a Litvak, you say Oimein. That's how it says in my Gemara. In the art scroll, a Breslover wrote it, so it's Uman. If you go to Uman, it's Samachayim. If you don't go to Uman, Sama de Moiso. As I state though. No, the art scroll is the Breslover. He said it, Oimein. Anyways, it's a person who's skilled. Read it any way you want. The Uman, Oimein Lo, Sama de Chaya. If you are skilled in Torah, you do it the right way. And Memela, it's the drug of life, the Uman law. If you don't learn it with Lishma, you don't keep the Torah, then it's Sam Hamoves. Omer Rabbi Shmuel ben Achmeini, Rabbi Yonasan Rami, Ksiv, Pikudei Hashem Yisharim Samchei Lev. The Pikudim of Hashem are straight. They gladden my heart. Uchsiv, Imras Hashem Tzrufa. Tzrufa, the Gemara here learns it as the words of Hashem are tzrufa. They can learn it. The Gemara learns it here that it's like this: smelt. Hold on. I'm serious. Let Nachman start songs. Yishkoyach. Can't have everybody start singing a song in the middle of a thing. We're trying to learn Torah here. Soon he's going to start saying jokes in the middle. This is litzaref, to take a metal, to take silver and purify it and make it nice and hot. Now it seems like Hashem's words could burn you. As I state, so says the Gemara, Zocha misamachtoi. If you're Zocha and you do the right thing, then Kudei Hashem Yishare Misamchei Lev will give you simcha in your life. Loi Zocha Tziraftoi will burn you, will give you Gehenim. Rish Lakish Omar Megufe de Kronavke. You don't have to go to Kudei Hashem Yishare. Zocha Tziraftoi L'Chayim. It is, any way you look at it, it's a tzrifa, it's to smelt it, it's to burn it out. But if you are zoicha, everybody in this world, Rabbi Oziel, everybody in this world goes through Yisurim. Everybody has, here I'm going to say in 10 seconds, a big yisoid. It's the yisoid of life. People think that you go through life, and all of a sudden, my beautiful, perfect life has a bump. Uy! So then I have to be mizgaber on it. That's not how it works. Life is bumps. Sometimes it goes smooth. We're here to overcome nisyonos. That's a shtickle mistake that people make. We are here to overcome nisyonos that we had the other day in the Gemara. When you overcome nisyonos, that's the schar you get. So anyway, if you take these yisurim, it's yisurim shalahava, then it creates tziraf l'chaim. Then it brings you into Olam Haba. You take them as yisurim and you say, oh, I accept these yisurim shalahava. Loi zacha. But if you're not Zoicha, you don't know how to look at it the right way, so after Lamisa, they'll take you to Gehenim, you complain, they'll take you to Gehenim. Here's Hashem Tahira Medis La'ad. The Yira of Hashem is pure, and it keeps you going, it keeps you standing forever. What does that mean? When you learn Torah b'tahara, like we had yesterday, that in order, we said, there's a shar that gives you your shamayim. Torah is the building. You can't build a building without having land, like the Gemara said yesterday. You have to have a chutzner to build a gate. But Torah is the building. The guy's going to build a whole building and he has nowhere to put it. Great. But they go together. They're hand in hand. You have to have Yiras Hashem in order to learn Torah, and you have to learn Torah to get your B'kitzur, it goes together. It's to have, the bottom line is to have Vegas and a Kodesh Baruch. Yiras Hashem Tahira Mez Lad. Zaloi med b'tahara. How do you learn Torah b'tahara? Mai? Noise isha v'achkach loy med Torah. You marry a woman before you learn Torah, when you're really young, and that keeps you away from machshavas zarais, and you can learn Torah b'tahara. Now you can help me, okay? If you had a point to the one song maybe that gives Litvaks a bad rap, the most Litvish song, boring song. Hey, does Hashem, no, how's it go? Hey, how's it go? Hey, does Hashem nemonu? Hey, does Hashem, ayayay, nemono. It's a great song. He's a Litvak. Machkimas besi.
Hey, does Hashem.
Who sings it like that? The Hasidim. The Hasidim sing like that. We sing like this. Yedus Hashem nemono. All right, you mind? Let's sing it like you. What's going on? Okay. By the way, I've been in the shul 8 years. I've never seen him sing that song like that. He's full of it. All of a sudden here, hey, do Hashem, ay. He's the guy in the bima. So like, no, boys. All right. What does it mean? We say it over and over and over. What does it even mean? So the Gemara explains. Nemana, Eidos, the testimony of Hashem, Nemana is going to be believed to be made and testify on the people that learn the Torah. Eidos Hashem, to testify on the people that learn the Torah that they were Mekayim the Torah again. Again, I mean, like Rashi keeps on saying the word Mekayim, that these are for people that keep the Torah. All right, Nusugya. Maisa Roikim, Maisa Choyshev. Here's the pasuk. Two psukim. Two psukim, they're like 10 psukim, a part of something. This is referring to the partition of the oil made. It says, Maisa Roikim, embroidery. Maisa Choyshev is, what do they translate it? Designer. Okay. Rabbi Lazar, what does it mean? So Rabbi Lazar comes and says that these two things go together. They're not two specific ways of sewing the partition and sewing the cover of the Mishkan. They're the same. It starts off like this and ends off like that. The what? So I have here a rikmah, embroidery. Here we go. You have this. So you start out with a black piece of fabric, and Rabbi Lezer says you draw on it with a pencil, let's say, the outline, and then you take a needle and you embroider this design into the fabric. Okay. First you design it, and then you embroider it. We have at home actually a challah cover that somebody got us as a gift, a very expensive one from this woman in Yerushalayim. And in Chicago and Lincolnwood, the whole paroiches is done like that. It's embroidered by hand. You know how the tefillin have the thing? It's a machine goes through, says your name. She does every stitch by hand. That's how they did it over there. He says no. The first pasuk is roikem is with a needle. Roikem. So it's done with a needle, and therefore what happens on this side will come out on the back. Yeah, I don't know if you could see. I didn't really plan this out so well, but it's in the back. Whatever you see in the front is in the back. Exactly, stitch to stitch. Okay. However, the word choishev is something else. It's to weave. So when you weave, says Rashi that there's two layers. That's how Rashi holds. Rambam argues. 2 layers. So Mela, 2 layers, I could put a lion on one side and an eagle on the other side, back to back, and they're not going to bother each other because it's 2 layers, and it's made within the fabric as you're making the fabric. Says the Gemara, so you have the Urim V'Tumim. You ask questions, and now we're going to explain exactly how it works. How do you ask? In what way? And what happens here? And how does the Kohen Gadol know what's going on? And we're going to go through a sugi first. The clothes that the Kohen Gadol wears, the Eid Begadim, Meshuach Melchama Meshamish Bahem. We have different Kohanim that we're going to discuss here. We have the Kohen Gadol, the regular Kohen Gadol, that's anointed with oil. We have the Kohen Gadol, later generations at the end of Beis Rishon, that they didn't have the oil anymore. We learned the oil was nignaz, so he becomes a Kohen Gadol through wearing the clothing. We have a Meshuach Melchama. Meshuach Melchama is not a Kohen Gadol. He's the guy in charge. He's very high up there. He's the guy in charge taking out Klal Yisrael to the war. He gives them a pep talk beforehand. He says, who's scared, who's not scared, who just built a house, who got married. He does all that. That's the Meshuach Melchama. Who else do we have? We have one more. We'll get there. We'll remember. Meshuach Melchama Mishamish Bahem. Mishamish Bahem in what? Says the Gemara, this guy taking out Klal Yisrael to war is not a Kohen Gadol. He wears the Shemona Begadim. All 8 Begadim. Including this. Shenemar ubigdei HaKodesh shel Aaron yu levonav achrov. The word is extra. It should be to the person, Lemisha Ba B'Gdula Achrov, the next in line, the next greatest Koyet, and that's the Meshuach Melchama. Some say that there's no name, or Kedi is the name of a person. So again, there's the Meshuach Melchama. He's the one in charge of the war. He wears Shemona Begadim like a Kohen Gadol. That's the Gemara, but it says, you would think that a son, now, there's a halacha that the son, just like Rebbe's, yeah? You wonder where this comes from. A Rebbe's nifter, his son takes over. Kohen Gadol's nifter, son slips right in and takes over. So you would think that the son of the Kohen Meshuach, the guy in charge of the Melchama, his son also is second. If his father dies, he steps in. Okay, it's only a Kohen Gadol could go into the Oyel Moed, so his son takes over. But Kohen Meshuach doesn't go into the Oyel Moed; he goes to war. So his son does not take over. Now, if it's true that a Kohen Meshuach wears the 8 clothing, look what it says in the pasuk. It says the word Yimalis Yadai. Talking about the Kohen Gadol, that his son takes over because Yimalis Yadai. It says Rashi that these words, Yimalis Yadai, means he wears the Shemona Begadim. So who takes over? Somebody who wears Shemona Begadim. It's all about the Shemona Begadim. So a Kohen Meshuach who wears Shemona Begadim, his son should take over. There should be a Yerusha. Yeah, you hear the kasha? If, what? Yeah, why not? L'chayra, that's what the Gemara is saying here. If they have the Shemona Begadim, yeah. Omer Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar Kol Sheikam Shichasi L'Oyel Moed Yotzei Zeh Sheikam Shichasi L'Milchama. No, it's because the Kohen Gadol he was anointed to go do the avoid in the Oil. That's why his son takes over. This guy, his Mashiach was not for the avoid, his Mashiach was for Milchama, so he does not go into the anywhere. Meisvei. Meshuach Milchama Yedem Shamash Le'Barabab K'Koyin Hedyot Loi B'Shmoyne K'Koyin Gadol. You hear what it says here? Mefurish against what we just said. Meshuach Milchama, the one in charge of the war, not a Koyin Gadol. He doesn't wear the 4 clothings of the regular Koyin, and he doesn't wear the 8. He's Kireach Mikano Mikan, he doesn't have anything. But it says Mefurish, he does not wear 8 clothing. What are you telling me? What? He's a Yisrael. He can't perform any avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. He's the top of the top. He's vice president. He's almost the top. He's one below the top, and he can't even wear shmoyna begadim. And he if it's not shmoyna, forget shmoyna. He can't even wear arba begadim. So how could he perform an avodah in the Beis Hamikdash? Says the Gemara, Ela k'koyin gadol. No, at the end of the day, he should be wearing 8 clothes. But the reason why he doesn't wear them is mishum eva, the jealousy of the kohen gadol. You don't walk around in front of a kohen gadol. He wears the shmonim gadol. That's what makes him special. And you walk around like that. It's not nice. And the reason why he doesn't wear 4 clothing, so you cannot wear the 4 clothing for one reason. You can't wear the 8 clothing. But for a different reason, not because the Torah doesn't allow him. It's a Rabbanan thing that he shouldn't poke the eyes of the kohen gadol. Now, you're telling me the whole reason why kohen gadol doesn't wear the kohen meshuach doesn't wear shmoyna begadim is because of Eva, not to upset the kohen gadol. Imagine your Rebbe, I don't know, like they have special, the velvet and the this and a chosh of a fancy beketcha, and a guy sits right next to him with the same exact. It's not good. It's not. You wear this. I'm the Rosh Shiva. I wear my Hamburg, my this. Nobody else. Okay. So, so I'm going to prove to you that it's not about jealousy, and the kohen meshuach still doesn't wear the begadim. The sanya dvarim should be kohen gadol kohen edi. So this is a beautiful brayso over here. It gives us a list of things that's special about a kohen gadol, that's special about a kohen meshuach, everything. Okay, here's the list. These are the things that are the difference between a kohen gadol and a regular kohen. Rashi takes out the word par kohen Mashiach and also the gra, but Rashi, he's a Rishon. Upar haba al kol mitzvahs. Par haba al kol mitzvahs. In other words, if a kohen gadol makes a mistake, he decides he can do a certain aver, let's say, so he has to bring a bull, where anybody else or the other kohen has to bring a regular carbon, not a bull. Upar Yom Kippurim, and there's only one par Yom Kippur that a kohen gadol brings. Va'asir seifa, and we know he brings a minchas chavitin every single day from his own money. That's just for a kohen gadol. Loi poireya v'loi poirem. Aval lets his hair grow out. A kohen gadol takes haircuts. V'loi poirem. Aval rips his clothing. A kohen gadol does not rip his clothing in the general area that a regular person does. So aval poiremu milamato, but he'll rip the bottom hem of his clothing. Ve'edid milamalo, and we know unfortunately how aval looks like. Ve'ein mitama. Besides that time that I went on Elal with my whole family, and we all had ripped clothing, and they had no idea. The people that worked in Elal had no clue why our clothes were ripped. They were asking us, "What's going on here?" And then we found, I said this Ma'isa. I told somebody. My brother said, "Could you imagine how they're treating us? We just came back from a levaya." I said, "Because they don't know. They don't know that we're Avelim." He says, "What did the Jews? They know." I said, "They don't know." So he says, "Ask." So I went and I asked the guy. And he said, one of the stores, he says, yeah. I said, you know why you ripped this? He goes, yeah, you're Navelos. I said, great. He says, yeah, I learned in Aza. I'm an Arab lawyer, and I learned it. So I said, that's not, you can't bring a rye from an Arab. So we asked the Israeli Jewish woman, the stewardess, and she had no clue. And she works in Halal. Okay. I hope things got better now, because we have firm guys running it. What? It's okay. But they should know. I mean, it makes sense. Anyways, fine. Yeah, kiruv opportunity. Now, the regular kohen, kohen gadol, a metama lekroivov. Who are his relatives? Remember, his son and daughter, his father and mother, his brother and sister, and his wife. There's a very interesting one, a sister. What kind of sister? Unmarried. Very good. In other words, if she got married, even if she's divorced now and she's unmarried, but if she was married once, that's it. That husband took her out of, he's not that close to her. He's not at the close craving. Okay, not our sugya, mitzvah ala b'sula. There's a mitzvah asay for him to marry a besula. Umuzar, and there's an isser, deiraisa, a lois asay ala almana. He's not allowed to marry an almana. Umachzer saritzeach. By him dying and leaving this world, the one who killed B'shaygeg leaves the Ari Miklat. Umakriv oinein, and even though a oinein cannot, we're running out of time. And even though a oinein cannot bring korbanos, you can't, a person who lost a loved one that day, a kohen gadol could be makriv a korban. However, you cannot eat chacham if you're kohen gadol or anybody. And he cannot take part of the chacham and say, I'm going to eat it after I'm an oinen. Tomorrow I'm not going to be oinen. No. He's the first one. We had this in the beginning of the stuff. He takes the first part of the animal. And he's the first one that goes on the mizbech. Whatever he feels like he does. He's the boss. And here it is. And he has the shmoyne begadim. But so remember, it says here that a kohen gadol wears shmoyne begadim. Because in a second it's going to say who does not wear shmoyne begadim. And if he goes in by accident into Beis Hamikdash, bituma, he's potter from a karba. And as we learned the whole Masechta, he's the only one that performs all the avodas in the Beis Hamikdash on Yom Kippur. Here we go. V'chulon noyagois b'meruba begadim. Meruba begadim is a kohen gadol. This is the one I forgot. This is the kohen gadol who doesn't. No, I didn't forget. This is the one I did say that he doesn't have the oil to anoint him. Okay, he became a kohen gadol through begadim and not through the oil. So the kohen gadol has everything. This kind of kohen gadol has everything in the first kohen gadol. Chutz mipar haba akol mitzvahs. If he makes a mistake in halacha, he doesn't bring a par. V'chulon noyagas. Here we go. V'chulon noyagas b'meshuach sha'avar. Oh, here's the one. A kohen gadol that lost his job. In other words, let's say he stepped in temporarily to fill in the kohen gadol's job. The kohen gadol cannot perform the avodah. He's tamei, so they bring in Shimon to perform. Then the kohen gadol, the original, comes back to his job. They kick Shimon out. But once he's a kohen gadol for life. So, all these halachas do not. All these halachas apply to meshuach shavar, the past kohen gadol. Chutz mepar Yom Kippurim. He cannot bring a bull on Yom Kippur. Why? Because there's only one par Yom Kippur that the real kohen gadol brings. V'asir seifa he cannot bring. Why? Because it's only the kohen gadol that brings asir seifa once a day. And here goes the question. The kohen, not the kohen gadol, the guy in charge of a milchama. You hear David Feinberg, the guy in charge of a milchama. All these halachas don't apply to him. Why? Besides the five things. The what? When it comes to aninos, he doesn't let his hair grow. He doesn't rip his clothing. He's not matamat his kroivim. He must marry a psula, and he's not allowed to marry almana. Now, it says mefurish that what? He doesn't wear the 8 begadim. Because the first one says umeshamish b'shmoyne kelim, and over here it says ein noyagois. Umachzer zeritzech, and he takes back. If he dies, the roitzchim come out. The murderers b'shoygeg, they come out of our miklat giver yudav chamayrim enoi machzer. So what's the problem? That kohen. The kohen that used to be the kohen wears eight clothing. Yeah? The kohen meshuach mechama not. So obviously, we don't have a problem of Eva. We have two kohanim here. We have a guy that used to be the kohen gadol last week, and he's allowed to wear the 8 begadim. What about Eva? What about jealousy? On that you don't say. So obviously this brisa doesn't hold of Eva. And at the same time it says that a kohen meshuach, the one that goes to the war, is not allowed to wear begadim. But this brisa doesn't hold of Eva because you have two kohanim walking around the Beis Hamikdash wearing clothing. The kohen gadol of this week and the kohen gadol of last week. So we don't hold of Eva. We don't hold of Eva. So then what's the reason that a kohen meshuach cannot wear 8 begadim? It cannot be your reason of Eva. Says the Gemara, Ki lesli Eva b'tkavosei. If, here, I have a nice picture, stam to show. It's just a mashal. I'm not a Svardi. I'm not a real Svardi. Here. Here's the Rav Rashi. He's wearing a Shmoyne Begadim. Here's Maran. You think he's insulted that he's wearing the clothing? Not insulted. They're the same. Maybe he's even greater. He used to be the Rav Rashi, so he gets to wear it. That's what the Gemara says. He was the Kohen Gadol last week. Okay, I'm not jealous of him. Well, Kohen Mashuach, who's this Kohen Mashuach guy? Why is he walking around in my begadim? Get out of here. I have jealousy. There's shuls here. There's shuls in America also. The Rav, he gives his drasha on Dar and Kodesh by the on top. Any other guy that comes to the shul that fills in, down there below. Chashava Rav from Eretz Yisrael comes, he gets to go on top on the. So whatever, no Eva. Okay. As many as whatever. There's usually only one, and sometimes if he becomes tummy, you get another. I don't know. So the Gemara, today we're only doing Amud Aleph. Says the Gemara, but a guy, who's less than him, then he gets upset that he's wearing the same begadim as him. So Rabbi Avo said this of Rabbi Avo, remember the name. He said the Kohen Meshuach wears the 8 begadim. And he said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, they didn't want to insult him and say, you're wrong. They turned around their heads, they looked the other direction. You know, when your wife, not my wife, but other wives, they get a little shed, they go, they look away from you. They show you, I'm not happy with you. So Memela, they didn't want to say it. Why? The Gemara is going to say in a second. Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amro. Rabbi Chia bar Abba is the one that said, Rabbi Yochanan is the one that said that the Kohen Meshuach wears 8 begadim. V'adrinu Rabbi Ami, the same two didn't look at him. They turned around. I understand why they didn't want to tell him in his face, because Rabbi Avo had connections with the government. So, for the covet of the government, he was well connected. They didn't want to tell him to his face, you don't know what you're talking about. They should have said, this is Torah, you have to say what it is. We know Rabbi Yochanan never said this. Anyway, so it has to be Rabbi Avo. Also Rav and Omar, Nishal Itmar. You learned the pshat wrong. He holds that this whole sugya from the beginning of Ayin Beis on the bottom, that the Kohen Meshuach, the one that goes and teaches Klal Yisrael how to go to war, the pep talker, he wears the 8 begadim, not to perform the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, just to ask from the Urim V'Tumim. When he's going to ask him, the Urim V'Tumim, he wears the Shemona begadim. It's not a full-time job. He's not walking around the Beis Hamikdash insulting the Kohen Gadol. So now, how does it work? Hashoyel panav klapi nishal. I'm saying it according to Rashi, not according to the Rambam. So, let's say the Kohen Gadol is wearing the Urim V'Tumim. The guy asking the question to the Urim V'Tumim faces the Kohen Gadol. V'anishal, and the Kohen Gadol wearing the Urim V'Tumim, panav klapi shchina. He puts his head down, looking at the Urim V'Tumim that's on his chest. Hashoyel oimer. Now the Gemara brings an actual example that David HaMelech asked the Urim V'Tumim. Should I chase the enemy? And the one that was asked the question says, yes, you'll be Matzliach. You take out those 3 words. Elo, alei v'atzlach. In other words, the Urim V'Tumim said, Ayin lamed hey, which is alei, and he translates it and he says, alei, go. Ein shoyalim b'koil. You don't say it out loud. Shenemar b'shoal loy. You ask the Kohen Gadol. In other words, only the Kohen Gadol could hear. V'loy mahar b'liboy. But you don't just not ask it. You don't think it. Shenemar b'shoal loy lifnei Hashem. Elo kederech she'omr chana b'tfilasa shenemar v'chano hi medaberes alibo rak sifosel noise. We learn from this. What does it mean, sifosel noise? That her lips moved, she whispered it. If it wouldn't say rak sifosel noise, it would just say medaberes alibo. So she thought it. But it says her lips were moving. Why were the lips moving? So that's what we're supposed to do, Rabbi Oziel. I don't want to get into it again because it's my pet peeve. But during Shemona Esrei, one should allow, according to the Mishabura, should allow his ear to hear it, but chas v'shalom to let somebody else hear you davening. Don't disturb the people next to you. The Chidah says that it's usher to do that, to even let your own ear hear, The Zohar says it, the Arizal says it. In other words, Al Pi Kabbalah, you shouldn't bichlal have it. Mr. We're passing that we should, but certainly not to the point. I know that some people that have hearing aids, they don't chap what Allah's like. So they think they have to be makbid. So I'm pretty sure that if it's going to disturb other people, you shouldn't be makbid on that halacha that you should hear it, because it's you should hear it, not the whole shul. V'shal loy v'lemar b'liboy. Okay, el kader sha'amra chana b'tfilas shenem chana im dever liba, and you have to finish the pasuk. Ein shoyalim shnei dvarim kechad. You never ask two questions, only one. V'im shal ein machzir melechad. And if you were over and you said the question, Hashem is only going to answer you one. Ve'ein machzir loy el rishon. And which one of the two? The first. Shenemar hayas giruni bali ki'ila biyadai. So there's a crazy story there with David HaMelech. He went to save Ki'ila, and he saved them. They were getting attacked by the enemy, and he beat the enemy. And sure enough, the ones that he saved wanted to, he thought for perhaps they're going to give him up to Shaul. So he asked the Uri Ben Mattisyahu. But instead of asking, is Shaul going to come? And then are they going to give me over to Shaul? He said, are they going to give me over to Shaul? Is Shaul going to come? That's important, as we're going to see in a second. So Hashem said, yes, they're going to give you over. So he ran. He booked out of there quick. Now Hashem answered him on the second question. But you just said that Hashem answers on the first question. Says the Gemara, it's very simple. David made a mistake. He didn't ask first, second. He asked second. In other words, he went out of order. He said, are they going to give me up to Shaul? Is Shaul going to come? Well, first Shaul comes, and then they give him up. So Mela, the Uri Ben Mattisyahu answered him, Uri Ben Mattisyahu, and for the success and Gashmius, especially Ruchnius, of his grandchildren. What?
The whole point of Yiruni is that they send a message to Shaul, tell him to come. That would normally happen first.
But Yizgiruni is to literally give him over. I hear what you're saying. You're saying, well, I think what happened was Shaul found out that he beat and he's hiding there. I don't think they went to tell him. He was coming there and he's going to show up and attack David because he found that he's there. Are they going to give him up? Are they going to hide him? I think that's what happened. But once he got the first answer, then he went ahead and he asked the second one. Are they going to give me up? Get out of there. Now, if it's an emergency, you need two. So Hashem answers two. Now, what happened was a very interesting story over there. We can't get into it, we don't have time. But the bottom line is, David HaMelech went to live with the Plishtim. It's like living in the Shtachim over here. And the Plishtim went to war with Klal Yisrael. And they chapped that if they leave and David is there, it's not good for them. So they said, David, you come with us. David had like 600 people with him. So he had to go with the Plishtim, fight Klal Yisrael. Exactly what he did, I'm not exactly sure. So they come back from war, and that's the war that Shaul died in. They come back, and he sees that all his houses, the 600 houses he had for his men, burned to the ground. All the women and children are gone. Disaster. The Amalekim came in when they were away at war and took everything and destroyed everything. A lot of crying going on. They cried until they couldn't cry anymore. And then they asked the Uri Ben Mattisyahu what to do. Should we go fight the Amalekim? It's a beautiful thing. If you look at it, how HaKadosh Baruch Hu fears the Welt, they didn't need a house. They didn't need anything because Shaul was dead. And David HaMelech had to go back to Israel anyway. So he went back, but he went back a lot wealthier, and he had so much Shaul because he beat the Amalekim at the end of the day. But it says over here, should I chase them? Am I going to catch them? Yes, go. Two things. Chase them. Okay, fine. So that was an emergency. Because if he waited any longer, he wouldn't be able to catch them. And he got all the women back, all the children, everything was great. You see, by Yoina HaNavi. This is Xer of the Navi, I'm going to destroy Nineveh, because Baruch took it back. But when something comes out of the Uri Ben Mattisyahu, it's solid. It never comes back. It's a mishpat. Now we have to understand why it's called Uri Ben Mattisyahu. Urim Shemi'ir in Devrayim. the words light up. Tumim shemashlim is devreim. They're whole, they're full, they're going to stay the way they are. They're said. Vim toimer begivis bin yamin, by the famous pilegish begiva mebnei malo yishlimu. What happened? The Shevet Binyamin, a few people from Shevet Binyamin, they took a pilegish and they abused her and she died. The Kitzer, Klai Yisrael wanted to punish those people. Binyamin said no. So Klai Yisrael asked Uri Ben Mattisyahu, should we go to war? Yes. And they lost big time the first day. Should we go tomorrow? Yes. Big time. So what's going on here? They didn't ask, are we going to win? They just said, should we go? But at the end, when they did ask the right question, when they said, yes, you're going to win, and in fact they won. Shall I go out with my Bnei Binyamin? Shall I go to war with Bnei Binyamin? Achi. By the way, it says Achi here. Finally, they call him our brother, and that's why maybe they won. Now, says the Gemara, how does it work? The letters pop out. The letters combine to the right thing. Now, real quickly, if it's boltois, pops out. Ayin, where's ayin? Somewhere. Shimon. Lamed, hey. Okay. So, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, the whole thing. Now, very important mice over here, even though it's 8 o'clock. There was a chassid that went to the Rebbe. And he said, Rebbe, I need a child. So the Rebbe put that in his head. He thought about it. He said, you're going to have a ben zachar. 9 months later, a few months. Wife got pregnant and she gave birth. Two girls. So the guy goes flying back to the Rebbe. Rebbe, what did you do to me? You said a ben zachar. Says the Rebbe, really? That's what happened? Says, oh, I have a shot here. I found in my Ruach HaKodesh, Beis Nun, like in the Uri Ben. Ben! What happened was, Beis Nekevis. You have to know how to read it. Beis Nekevis, Ruach HaKodesh is one thing, and how to interpret the Ruach HaKodesh is another thing. So I made a shtickle mistake. Okay. But that's what happens with the Uri Ben. It says, Alei. You could read a I don't know what. You have to know how to read it. You have to have the proper way of reading it. It says Hatzel Tatzil. Right? He said Hatzel Tatzil. That was the answer. Where's the tzaddik? In all the shvatim, there's no tzaddik. So the Gemara. Yitzhak. Avram, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Ksiv Sham. It also says, if you look over here, we also have Avram, Yitzhak, Yaakov. So in the Yitzchak, there's a tzaddik. V'lo Ksiv Tes. Omer Avacha Yaakov, Shifte Yeshurun Ksiv Sham. It also says Shifte Yeshurun. Meisvei. If you don't have Ruach HaKodesh, forget about it. We don't use you. Sharei Shal Tzadik Balsaloi. Ev Yosef also loy. Ev Yosef, by the way, is the one that brought the Urim V'Tumim to David HaMelech. He was the only one from Noi V'Ira Kohanim that was saved. He had the Urim V'Tumim. So, but Rabbi Yosef lost his Ruach HaKodesh, the pasuk says, and that's why David HaMelech kicked him out, and he put tzaddik instead of him to be Kohen Gadol. Shenem Rabbi Yosef at Toim Kolah. Oh, as the Gemara, if it pops out, it says Alei. You don't have to have Ruach HaKodesh. Anybody knows how to read Ayin Lamed Hey, or according to Rish Lakish, it's even easier. It puts it in order. Ayin Lamed Hey. Everything else, you have to read Hebrew. Everybody knows. Says the Gemara, so you have Messiah Ba'adayu. No. If you're not the right Kohen Gadol, then you don't have you can't do this. If you're not a proper guy, then the word's not going to come out. It's not going to be Ayin Lamed Hey. Let's just finish 3 lines. We're not immediately that only a king, only people that are in charge of Klai Yisrael. Who? What does the word who mean? Zeh Melech. That's Yeshua. He's the king. The people that are in charge of Klai Yisrael, they're the ones that can use the Urim V'Tumim. Hadran Allah Balei Kohen Gadol. Hadran Allah Balei Kohen Gadol. Hadran Allah Balei Kohen Gadol. Have a wonderful day. Shem Alois, Yeah, what? Sorry.
That Shlema wasn't answering. Before he went to battle with Pushim, he went to our tournament. They didn't answer.
Where? Show?
Before he went to battle with Pushim.
Yeah.
So what shot? He wasn't answering.